fix. Hold it right, chill.
You men
You men from the bank? Hold it right, chill. You men from the bank?
You men from the
You gotta train the next generation. All right, hold on. What is this? Washington trained Guatemala's killers for decades? Yeah, they have. Of course they have. It's not even a question. That's not even, well, it's news. It's important to show because some people don't know it's news. Yeah, we've always been behind this nonsense. All right, good morning. Let's get started here. See if I can't get all my widgets. All my widgets working. Gotta get your widgets working. Oh man, blah, 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 blah. Right there. Hold it right, chair. You men from the bank? Y'all remember this? Y'all remember this part? This was such a great movie. Hold it right, chair. You men from the bank? Teaching kids how to identify problem. Crazy. I'll show you the scene in a minute. Hold on. We got everybody in the room. We got that. I got a sure. Hold it right, sure. This is what you do. So I'm constantly trying to figure out what the hell are we doing. I mean, we're talking about truthful things, but in general, by the way, what's happening up here? I'm always looking at like what happens in my world, and I just try to determine: did the bank send them? Are they from the bank? Right? Like we mortgaged the future of Earth to bankers. Not watching the news, watching people, watching the political parties, watching the politicians, watching all the narratives. Hold it right, sure. Are y'all mermaids from the bank? Because that's how you figure it out. I think that's how you see the Matrix. That's why Jesus overturned them tables before the church got bank accounts. All right, where are my reactions at? I don't see no reactions. Where are my reactions? Wait. This is fake news. Something ain't working. Hold on. Let me see. I can't share it yet. Where is my live reactions? I like seeing hearts flow by. I want to see some hearts. You know what? They're not flowing. I can see them flowing by on Facebook. I don't see them on here. What's going on? Nope, that's not it. Right here. There they go. All right, get hearts. We got hearts. Yeah. Good morning, everybody. Hold it right, chair. This is my favorite movie line. Y'all remember this movie?
You wash it, Mom?
Yes, sir. Daddy told me I'm to shoot who's ever from the bank. Hold it right, chair. You men from the bank?
You men from the
Wash it,
bank?
Mom?
Hold on, wait. I can't show it to you yet. I'm supposed to be sharing. Hold on, let me share. Thank you for sharing, people. Good morning, everybody. You gotta train the next generation. You gotta train them. Know the root of the problem. It's not what you think it is. They do not put problems on television. No. That's the boob tube. That's how you play people. They do not put the real problem on the news. They will do what sells papers, which is basically conforming to whatever your find out whatever that program is, whatever the narrative is, whatever the television says. Did the bank send them? If the bank sent the Black Mermaid, then that's the problem. Hold on, wait. All right. Everybody okay now? We done dealt with the Black Mermaids. Mermaids can be, they can have whatever color scales they want. Hang on. My screen ain't working right. All right, move that over there like that. Boom. Hold it right there. You wash it, boy. Yes, sir. Daddy said I was supposed to shoot anybody from the bank. Why did the last generation raise the kids to be so damn smart? And the ones now, they buy everything from the bank. All right. Oh, there's some interesting stuff in the news today. I don't know. Wait, let me finish sharing. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Is anybody here from the bank? Anybody come with the bank's talking points? Did y'all see what was this? Somebody said something about Trump. What was it, in the UK? Did y'all see that? Somebody talking about Epstein. I don't know who Epstein is all over Facebook too. Susan, I don't even know who Epstein is. Epstein. I see people posting on it and it was mentioned in the news, but again, I don't do fantasy world. I don't I think he's like a billionaire or something, like a real wealthy guy. What did he do? Did the bank send him? Is that narrative a distraction from the bank? Have wealthy people always been pedophiles, going back because they get bored? The lords and kings got so much wealth, they don't know what the hell to do with it, that it just makes sense at a certain point in time that they want some risk and they become pedophiles. Is this news? Is this new? All right, I don't even know who Epstein is, but they say we're taking down the sex traffic rings. Like, no, you're actually not. They've been here since the beginning of time. As long as you got banks, you have sex trafficking rings. As long as you got banks, you have sex trafficking. Period. As long as you got banks, you'll have slavery. As long as you got banks, you'll have destruction. As long as you got banks, you'll have violations and violence. Nothing will evolve as long as you got banks. That's why he asked that question. Paul said I'm supposed to shoot anybody from the bank. Let me show you. I'm gonna show you how to clip. Have y'all watched Brother Where Art Thou? Y'all supposed to watch that. How's everybody doing? Yeah, what was the other thing? Something about the UK said something about Trump. What is it? Oh, it was an ambassador. Well, I shouldn't say we say it's an ambassador. I think we should say the UK. I think we should go. I think we should sanction the UK. I do, and I got friends in the UK, but this is important. We might be able to solve some of the world's problems. If you take some of the Western countries, the Western Rothschild banking countries, and turn them against each other, I think that would help. We should sanction UK because UK won't even care. They don't even want our rice, our wheat, our corn, our soy. It's all GMO sprayed with pesticides. They don't want none of that stuff American people are being poisoned with by their damn government. They're not that stupid. The people in the UK kind of get it. They kind of get it. All right. Good morning, everybody. Good morning. Let me see. What is that? Who we got in the house? We got everybody up here. Hey, good morning. Good morning, people. Anybody from the banks? All right, hold on, wait. Let me show you. I want to show you the scene. I want you to see the scene. See the scene. Hold on, right, sure. Oh, said that because they were just walking up to the house.
I told you I buried it myself. Your cousin still has this here horse farm and a
Went to his cousin's horse farm.
impediment to restore our liberty of movement.
Hold it right here. You men from the bank?
You wash his bar?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Daddy told me I'm to shoot who's ever from the bank.
Well, we ain't from the bank, young feller.
Yes, sir. Mom's supposed to shoot folks serving papers.
You ain't got no
Certain papers?
neither.
I nicked the census man.
Now there's a good boy.
All right, so let me see. All right, so you suppose it, well, hang on. We gotta think about this. So you teach the next generation, shoot anybody from the bank. Anybody show up from the bank, politicians, the news, anything. Don't believe none of that crap. Anybody serving papers. Anybody serving papers. Anybody say who serve papers? Shoot anybody serving papers. And who else was it? And I nicked the census man, right? Because the census man come to ask questions, right? Somebody serving papers like they own you. Like, this is why I don't believe in law. I'm not a law guy. I don't believe, I got a lot of friends in the contract law and stuff. I get that. The problem is all laws are illegal. So you have no rights to me. You have no rights to this nation. You have no rights to the land. You have no rights to the war. You have no rights to none of that. Nobody put you in charge of all of this. So I don't believe in none of that. And the census man, he want to know who in the house. Who in the house? Why they in the house? Where they in the house? What's the ages? What the numbers? How much money you making? The census man want too much information. Deep state. Train them right. This is why our ancestors handed all this down to us. They didn't hand down no nonsense. They told us don't trust these people. And unfortunately, I was born at the wrong time and the damn stork brought me to the wrong dimension where all the adults trust the banks, the census people, the people serving papers, and the census, and it just is crazy. It's crazy to me. I wake up every morning, I look around, what dimension I'm in? Boom. All right, yeah, get that, press some buttons. Okay, we good, dude. Watch the news. This is what I'm always trying to process. What are we doing here? You know, because they call it, we just talk about the truth and laugh at stupid stuff. Yeah, that's true. That's a big part of it. But we're basically looking at the world, trying to determine the real problems through all the lies and the matrix and the media and what's happening. You know, looking for the contradiction, looking for the hypocrisy, looking for the things that make Earth being a plantation sustainable and ending it. And a lot of that had to do with what was passed down. Like, I'm joking, I'm laughing about the movie, but I'm a movie guy. I like movies. I think there's great information and stories in movies, great things handed down. Grandparents always said, never trust the government. People serving papers, never trust the census. People who want information ain't theirs. And to catalog the human race like you're cattle in their country. And never trust the bankers. Never trust the bankers. Christ tried to tell you that. We didn't listen. Good morning. Anyway, how's everybody doing this morning? Good morning, Sandy and Carrie. Trish and Terry and Susan. Gerard, I have no idea who Epstein is. A huge pedophile. Susan, you know what? Listen, if there's probably over $100 million in that bank account, that's who they are. They get bored. We get so much money, you get bored, and they turn on children, they turn on women. They want to do projects that are fun. Like, life gets boring when you can like buy politicians and nations. Oh, that reminds me of something. I made a post. Let me see if I got in trouble over this one. Y'all remember The Art of the Deal? Anybody read that? Anybody remember The Art of the Deal? We need a president who understands how to make deals. Like, we keep going through like these renditions. We need a president with some black skin. We need a president with a vagina. We need all of this stuff. And that's what I'm thinking about. Somebody should write a book called The Art of the Artificial Deal. The art of faking that you're making deals. That's what somebody should write a book. This is what I think. This is what I saw growing up. The few rich people I grew around growing up. See, rich people, they don't care nothing about your politicians, your parties, your politics, and none of that premature, naive, gullible things that you think make the world go round. See, the politicians, they don't make deals. With the billionaires, the elites, I mean, the owners, the people who own resources, they don't make deals with your politician. You don't need a dealer. Well, we need somebody who can run a business because America is a business. Yes, I agree with you. America is a business. Damn, it happened in 1933, but the billionaires bought it, and we had a holding company. They own us. There's no CEO in Washington. Washington is the janitor, okay? They're the cleanup crew. They're the ones who go around the world, bomb, blow up things, and kill people, all right? They're the janitors. If you're electing anybody, it's the head of the janitor board, okay? Billionaires and elites and people who own resources, they don't make deals with politicians. They buy them. They literally determine. Like, you ever go sit down? I was lucky enough to sit down at a table with a billionaire or two in my life. They don't make deals, people. They don't make deals. They tell you what you're gonna do, and you will be thankful to be a part of their project. And billionaires what to do. The billionaires tell the politicians. If the politicians are broken, they don't understand that they're playthings, that they're toys. In the world, if the politician didn't get the email, they don't really understand how this world works, that money decides. They just replace them. Like, what do you do when you buy your kid a toy and it's dysfunctional, it's not working? You buy your kid a toy that doesn't work, you take it back to the store. The hell no. They don't deal with politicians. But, so many people believe this crap. So many people believe the narratives. And this is why we're here. It's why we're here every day, and we got to talk about it. We got to sit here and talk about the reality and how the world actually works. But yeah, ain't no deals happening. Ain't no deals with Washington. Washington doesn't have any leverage. What leverage does Washington have? Somebody tell me. Is anybody here who believes this crap? Anybody here from the bank? Anybody here from the bank who believes this crap? All right. They tell Washington, you have to have leverage to deal with billionaires and bankers and the elites who own all of this. And Washington has no leverage. Washington, from a political perspective, they don't have a military, they don't have a job, they don't have an income, they don't have a savings, they don't have a Federal Reserve, they don't print the money, they have nothing. They are there completely for your fantasy. That's it. And you get to choose if the mermaid got black or white scales or Hispanic scales or vagina. That's it. Those are the only choices that you get. And then they're told what to do. It's an ugly, ugly truth, but that is the real truth. Ruth, it's ugly. But that's what adults supposed to do. You're supposed to pull your big drawers up, pull your panties up, say, you know what, the world is ugly all the time. We should be shooting bankers. The whole time, we should have been asking everybody that from the bank. Every time you watch the news, you look at a headline, you read your newspaper, your friend comes to your house. Are you from the bank? When I talk to people all day long. They start to get off on their little political rants and stuff. Like I'm hearing what they're saying, kind of, sort of, but I don't really hear. I just, in my mind, is processing. You got one of them bank narratives, don't you? You on the left, you on the right. You want me to believe that the bankers don't run this world. You want me to believe that you are actually going to fix things by flipping somebody in Washington. Which, by the way, I do want to look at that. What did the UK say about Trump? I think it's funny. I think we should sanction the UK. I think we should fuel the jets. I think we should surround the UK, and I think we might need a wall. That's what I'm thinking. All right, let me see. Shoot a pardon. Exactly, Hillary. It's a pardon. Why? Because they all work together. They all work together, and the politicians are the ones who work for the billionaires. And so if Epstein's a friend of whoever, they might say, okay, well, how bad does this look in the media? Oh, if it looks really, really bad, Hillary, you know what they'll do? Say, okay, we're gonna give him 20 years. And they'll say, yeah, he's going to prison for 20 years. And nobody in any prison, guys, everybody all around the United States, ain't nobody gonna see him. Nobody's gonna see him. They're gonna pull one of those, house arrests, and whose house is the earth? They stick together. It is them versus us. That's the only fight. Everything else, that's the only struggle. Everything is a fake struggle. Everything else is a fuggle. Oh my goodness. Did y'all hear about the daggone, wait, all right. I'm not gonna go there. I'm not gonna go there. We will talk about that in a minute if we get to it. I'm gonna look at what y'all want to talk about first. I've been kind of driving this a little more than I like to. What are y'all talking about? Patricia's like, oh Lord, what happened? I don't know. A UK ambassador said something about Trump. Trump got pissed off, said he didn't want to talk to him no more. And it's the kabuki theater. That's all, Patricia. They want people to focus in on like, oh, he made Trump upset. Oh my gosh, he's gonna bring fire and fury, and we're not gonna deal with the UK, and we're gonna have a trade war, and things gonna happen. My bread's gonna go up, and it's just like, no. I think the Rothschilds will let their countries fight, Patricia. I do. That's a question I want to know. Do you think the Rothschilds will let their nations fight? I think they would. I think if it's too many, because you know how we say the Rothschild nations are always together in every single war, but they will let them fight. They'll let them fight. It's like, you know, if you own pit bulls or something, you got them out there, and well, you know what? That's not fair. That's like pit bull racism. I'm sick of pit bull racism. If you own some Chihuahuas, because Chihuahuas are them some murdery bastards, boy. They're a member of the terrier family. They don't play. They rip everything apart. You say you own 2 Chihuahuas. Every day you come home and a little yappy thing. You go to somebody. They don't know how to quit. After a while, you might get tired of it. You might get tired of their Sharpie sign protest. You might get tired of their outrage on the left and right. So, all right, well, y'all really hate each other, but go ahead and let y'all fight then. The billionaires, I think they'll let their nations fight. I think they will. You know, we're not going to destroy too much infrastructure because you can't affect their profits, but they'll let them like spat. I think the UK and the US should probably go to war. I think it might be a good thing. I think it might give some freedom to the other nations that are innocent, that ain't done anything to anybody. All right. So I don't really know what happened, Patricia. I guess we're mad at him and Trump doesn't want to talk to the ambassador. He stuck his lip out or something. So, and I'm not sure what the either side say. I'm sure the people who think Trump is fighting the deep state, fighting billionaires and own nations, I think that they're probably upset because I think he said some pretty horrendous things. And the other side are like,
Yeah, see? You see what we're saying? Trump is a monster!
you know, and I'm just not interested in the fight. I'm just like, y'all, we're supposed to be shooting the bankers, man. We're supposed to be shooting the bankers. Both sides are sitting by the bank. All right, both sides take loans from them. They get corporate funding from them. They get bribes from them. Both sides are from the bank. You're supposed to shoot them. All right, you're supposed to nick them. You can't say shoot. You can't say that. You can't say that. You're supposed to nick them. You're supposed to shoot them with the love gun. That's what it is. All right. Epstein is Mr. Brownstone. He's a spider. Okay, I don't even know what that is. I know what a spider is, at Patricia. I don't know who Brownstone's in New York. You got a brownstone in New York? Gentrification? What's going on with him? Again, I don't pay attention. I pay attention to things in life that really matter. And it's the billionaires and the banks and my garden. That's it. Billionaires, banks, my garden, and with that is like the kids and people who live in my community. That's it. Everything in between is bullshit. I have no interest anything in between. So I really don't know who he is, and I don't follow entertainers. I don't listen to none of that crap. I might watch a movie or something every now and then. Big Brother and holding companies. That's all you gotta think about, Lori. Big Brother and holding companies. I agree with you 100%. That is an epic way to put it. Washington is the janitor. It is, Deborah. They're the janitors. Tell me, what does Washington do other than that? Somebody tell me. What do they do? What do they do? They got mops. They got mops. They got carcinogen sprays, and they clean up the world. They spray carcinogen and white phosphorus and bomb places and blow things up. But janitors actually, when they leave, things smell pretty good, though. They don't. When Washington leaves, oh no, it's just like dead people and blown up buildings and starving populations, but they're the janitor, and that's the way the banks want it. They need Vinny to know. They need something to blow something up. And so now coming into the 2020 elections, you'll have everybody trying to pick who gets to hold the mop. Who gets to hold the mop? And people are yelling, screaming, oh, they gonna donate their money like last time. I got friends who lost their houses. Oh, they believed all of this crap. They believed it. Oh, divorces happened. They fought with their friends and people they known for years. They didn't recognize that these politicians all come from the bank. And the few that don't come from the bank, you think they're gonna take on the banks? Come on, people. How old is everybody? No, don't y'all say that. Y'all start posting your ages. Just everybody's over 4, I think, right? Everybody's over 4. You shoot people from the bank with the love gun. That's what you do. You shoot them with some honesty. You shoot them with some hypocrisy. And I think that was what Patricia posted this morning, wasn't it? So in Guatemala, and where is that? She posted in Guatemala that we were destroying countries, and it's just like, yeah, we know. Yeah, and you have to post it. Like, why? So, hang on, let me go to Patricia's page. Because you have to post it, because people actually don't know this stuff. They don't realize that we destroyed Latin America, that we own it. We spilled the milk. We sent the janitor down there. There you go. Sister Patricia posted this. Washington trained Guatemala killers for decades. Hello. Let me show this to you. Hello. Like, it should only be news to people who believe this crap. People who who aren't focusing who the bankers are, who's sending them. Let me do this. I'm gonna show it to you, some article. I don't even know what I'm gonna show you this morning. Let's just peek around. Right there. Boom. There you go. See, look at that. And it's got 2 shares. It should have like 8,000 shares and 1 million likes, right? Because that's the truth. Washington trained Guatemala killers for decades, like Chiquita Banana and all the rest of them. All right, we destroyed Latin America. Washington are the janitors. They do what they're told. But as long as Americans act like that, and they're actually making decisions, then the billionaires behind that, they run everything and they get away with literal murder of nations. As long as we act like children and we can't spot the real problem, like this young man right here, like her, right? The problem is always the bankers. It's always somebody coming on your land, asking questions, trying to take a census. How many chickens you got? It's not your business. How many kids in your, what was your income? You know, all of that, that's all bank information. It's all bank information. Oh, Lori, I can't say that. Let me see, what's that, Daniel? They dumped 1,000 into the Bush Foundation. What? Why would anyone dump thousands into the 1,000s into the Bush Foundation? What is that? Why is the Bush Foundation still a thing? Didn't he kill JFK? Why is anybody even, like, why is anything Bush? How come the Bushes aren't in hiding in somewhere? Well, I guess they're not, they didn't do it. It was Papa Bush. I get that. But why in the world do they even have bank accounts? Why, if you can kill an American president, do you have independence? Why? And get away with it. Let's see you do it. Let's see you go kill your neighbor's cat. You go, I know cat people get upset. I say, kill your neighbor's chihuahua. You go do that. Well, I see what happened to you. I bet you'll get more of a sentence what George Bush got for killing a president with, who was it? The folks in Israel with the nuclear. What were they doing? Like, what was their problem? Why was JFK was going after them because he was going to take away their nuclear something. Enrichment facility or something like that, and so magically he ended up dead. You know, come on, we know what that is. Hopefully we know what that is by now. Let me see. All right, so listen. So he dumped thousands to the Bush Foundation. Trump too, haven't talked to them in 29 years. Very evil with dark hearts. Oil tycoons, Oklahoma and Texas. Yes, Daniel. That's big oil country. That's where deals are being made. There are some deals being made in the United States. It involves energy and oil and the things you can keep from people to keep them working, to keep the plantation rolling. Yeah, I agree with that. Let me see. We manifest what is on the same frequency and vibration. We no longer have to manifest all kinds of low vibe stuff and can manifest way more powerful things. I believe that, Susan. I'm trying to figure out how to do that. I've done some manifesting. Sound crazy to a lot of people, but it's real. It's real. Your wave energy and your thoughts are literal energy. You can make things happen. I've made people call me. It was crazy, Susan. All right, we're not gonna get into that. I've done that before, you know, and it gets back to if you think that's crazy, think about all the mothers who said, you know what, I got a bad feeling. I think something happened to my kid, and next thing you know, an hour later, 30 minutes later, the police call. They were in an accident, right? That's happened thousands of times. So you know, these are things that we don't understand. Tyler says he could be president. No, you can't be Tyler. Nope. Not my president. I'm sorry. Tyler, I've retired from that plantation mindset. I've retired from the slave mentality. I don't need a president. I can pull my underwear up and I can wash myself. I can brush my teeth. I can make my coffee. I'm a big boy now, Tyler. I don't need a president. I don't want a president. I believe what Cat Williams said. To a degree. He said, maybe we need to date a president for a while. No, we don't need it. I'm done. I'm done with leaders. Like, I finally realized that it was just a narrative to control us. That's all that was. All right. I mean, why does anyone think they need leaders? Why do you need to be led? And where they gonna take you? To the stove? Y'all finna get some bread? Where your leader gonna take you? How old is everybody? Marianne Williamson. Nope. Sorry, Tyler. Don't want her neither. I don't need her. What does Marianne Williamson know about me? What she know about me? Did she call me? Let me check my phone. Where's my phone at? Do I got her? You got her phone number, Tyler? Can you text her? Tell her I said hey. Tell her I said hey. She don't know me. She does not know me. She doesn't know how to put my pants on. I put my pants on. She doesn't know where I live. She doesn't know what I drive. She doesn't know my passions. She doesn't know what I want out of life. She doesn't get to lead me. None of them. All of it is a fantasy construct. This idea that you have to be led. We were born into it, but that doesn't make it right. Like, I was in a good conversation, Tyler with somebody the other day. He was an IT brother, and we were going back and forth about, well, obviously what's wrong with the world, because I talk to everybody about this stuff. And he said, yeah, we used to go to meetings and sit down in the meeting. He said, I used to hate it because we were like trying to work through a problem, find the root cause and progress greed for the company. And he said, you always got somebody who says, well, we're doing it this way because we've always done it this way. And I'm like, we have a lot of those, don't we? We got a lot of people who believe those philosophies that we need leaders because we've always had leaders, haven't we? We got to keep these things. Yeah, well, we've always had rape too. We've always had starving children. We've always had keep the population divided for the banks. We've always had banks since the world stopped evolving. You know, we have to move forward. Like, if a thing is a bad idea, then let's not do that no more. You know, it's part of why I say this whole thing with all these divisions got to go away. All these groups, everything that's a part of the problem has to go because we got real problems to fix. And none of them are related to the narratives that are developed to keep the banks owning nations and these big corporations in control. So yes, I agree. We need love. That's exactly what we need, Tyler. That's all we need. All we need is love. That's all we need. That's it. I have no desire to be a president or any low vibe human. Ooh, I like how you put that, Susan. And that is, it's a low vibe, because it's a low vibe job, isn't it? Isn't it, Susan? It's a low vibe job. If you become president, they will make you murder people. Do you want to murder people? Do you want to drop bombs on babies? Do you want to starve people for jobs, right? Like, and this is why I don't blame the presidents. I don't blame Trump and Obama and these characters, because they're just characters. They're doing a job. They're surrounded by the world's, they're surrounded by 100 of the most powerful people in the world who represent people who don't take no for an answer. Why would anybody want to go get it? It's like the mafia is hiring. The cartels are hiring. Why would and who would apply for a job? I want to work with the mafia. Why? I'm going to work on my resume. I'm going to go work for the Crips. I want to become a blood. Why would you do that? Who wants to join a cartel that's murdering people? I'm going to walk away, y'all. I believe let that system collapse. This thing is evil. It needs to go. We need to free the human race, and the only way to free the human race is first we got to free our minds from like slave mentality. We don't need a government. You don't need one. You literally, it's only there because you believe that you need one. Trump was a perfect selection in order to have citizens switch sides and maintain their two-party system. GOP can blame the DNC. Remember, GOP can blame and DNC can blame, and both come out looking okay enough to vote for one another. Exactly, and that's Miss T, you and I, we spot on. That's it. They know who to pick. And as long as you keep people on the sides, they don't have to do anything for people. That's exactly how it works. You know, Marianne Williamson can win, Bernie can win, Trump can win. Y'all can put Obama back in. Nothing's going to change. They just need charismatic people to get grown adults to be gullible enough to keep supporting the system that's murdering people. And murder's bad. It's not actually a good idea. All right, so let's think about it like this. If most people took on this philosophy of becoming ungovernable and just walked away and didn't vote, how do you think they'd respond, right? They're not scared of your revolution, right? They're not scared of it. I got the revolutionary friends. They've been planning for that for decades. They got technology we don't even know about. They're not scared of your revolution. The only thing that they're scared of is you not believing in it. That's it. That's the only thing that it terrifies them that you stop believing. Why? Because it's a lot more of us than it is of them. As long as we believe, as y'all are following the narratives and you believe in the men brought the Bible, then they're good to go. But the minute y'all stop dividing up, you stop believing this crap, you stop believing that you're a race, a religion, a nation, a class, then when you stop believing in this monopoly game that requires so many people to starve and die, then they get scared. That's the only thing that scares them. Your guns don't scare them, 10% of your population don't scare them, none of that scares them. The only thing that scares them is you give up faith in them. And that's when something might actually change. That's when you might actually get a politician, a janitor, who might actually do something that might be worth a damn. Because he might think, or she might think, that the nation would rally behind freedom, which is what we don't do. We rally behind imprisonment, enslavement, and war. Let me see. Y'all sending friend requests. That's good. Y'all should be friends. If you're on Facebook, listen, this is a video game, y'all. They're not lying. They're not lying now. You get top fan, and they show you who was that? Ivana got your game score this morning. She's like, I was your top fan in July or something like that. No, you weren't. AI did some processing. They're like, yep, well, they agree 90% of the time. So, you got that, and you got top fans, and you got throw people in jail, and like, this is a video. This is literally a child's toy. It's a plaything. It's a video game that too many people take way too seriously. But we can use it for some good things. We can take this child's toy and actually use it to have truthful conversations and meet people that we don't know. And so we can use it to do some good things. But don't ever be confused. This is a freaking video. Y'all see the likes flying across the screen? Tell me that's not a video game. Tell me the smiles and the angry faces. Tell me that ain't. This is a video game, people. We got tricked into using a child's play thing because all the kids were on Facebook. We want to know what they were doing, so we all joined. And then the kids had a big Facebook exodus of 2012 or whenever it was. They all left, and they just left us here. So we're here. We might as well do something good with their play toy. That's all I'm saying. Gerard, you watch apocalyptic movies? I do, Susan. I do. I like zombie movies. Zombie show. You know what? There's not a zombie movie I haven't seen. I got the whole collection, all of them. Well, which ones? Everyone, even the ones in French. They only speak English. I got all the Spanish zombie movies. Why? Well, because I need to relax from America every now and then. That's why I go like when the day is over and I'm like sick of all the devastation in America. I watch apocalyptic movies and it makes me relax. Like I watch those things and they make me feel good. They calm me down, you know. Then because I know I had to get up the next morning and watch the real apocalypse unfold. You know, because they're always good. Like they're like right now I'm watching Fear the Walking Dead because The Walking Dead is on break, and I like it. It's interesting, right? People coming together. The zombies are attacking, and what they do, you know, because the tragedy brings a family together, and they're growing the hell up, right? Like they got Mexicans and they got Americans, and the Americans crossed the border into Mexico. Well, they took a boat, right? They went over to and the Mexicans took care of them, and they had white folk, and they had some Chinese folk. I think they killed all the Chinese. They didn't like Asians too. They killed all y'all. But it's gonna be something. They're gonna come back, and so you got this big group of everybody working together, and like you got zombies and people, and that's it. Zombies and people, and like there's a great analogy there for today, right? Why do we wait for zombie apocalypses to grow the hell up and act like a collective how we're supposed to do? Which, by the way, Rick is with that group, y'all. I was gonna let y'all know. If y'all following Rick with that group. He's with the helicopters, he with the group. That's where Rick is. They're gonna find Rick. Rick is coming back. But you bring all these people together and everybody serves as a component to the collective. And this is what the human race is supposed to be. That's what we're here for. We're here to be a collective. We're not here to gang up on each other and vote against each other. We're not here to get philosophy. I gotta show you something. Now that done brought something to mind. I was watching the news and something did sound interesting. Talking about comedy. We gotta bring comedy back. Something happened with MAD. Y'all remember MAD, M-A-D? Comedy used to pick on all sides of everything. It didn't have a side. It just looked at ridiculousness. And of course, all the sides always got some ridiculousness. And they make jokes with it. I wanna go there. I bet you they're going to say something important. This every now and then something in the news actually makes some damn sense, and this might be one of them. Let me get past the commercial because I don't want to show that. You guys sound like cameras or something. Nope, we got cameras everywhere. You need a camera, just come to the United States, go pull up to a stoplight and look up. You got plenty of cameras. We don't need no cameras. I don't need to buy a camera. Check this out. Let's see what they got to say. MAD. Y'all remember MAD?
American satire MAD magazine will no longer be a permanent fixture on newsstands. We can reveal to you it's going to cease publishing new content, and the iconic publication's monthly issues will now be replaced by just end-of-year specials. Next today, Saskia Taylor takes a closer look at whether the media's become just a bit too sensitive these days to a joke.
There once existed this surreal concept. It was sharp, vicious at times, and wholly irreverent. It was called satire, and it's dead. Or rather, it's been killed. After 67 years of ruthlessly mocking the world, a bedrock of American comedy, the cult satirical magazine MAD, is shutting up shop. From August, it's just going to recycle old content and put a new cover on it. This is a publication ingrained in Western culture, with its child mascot Alfred E. Newman, comics like Spy vs. Spy, and even its own board games.
These people are doing some real goofy things because they're playing MAD. It's a game that's crazy, goofy, and wacky because it's MAD.
MAD took no prisoners. Its creator said it was there to toughen up the younger generation, show life's ugly side. It was also indiscriminate, parodying politicians on both sides of the spectrum.
We pride ourselves in the fact that we have no philosophy. We have no philosophy, we have no politics, we don't take sides.
We have no morals, we have no scruples.
We have no taste, we have no intelligence.
Yes, we have no bananas.
And that's about it.
Set up.
So now this is interesting because this is making some sense to me. Like that's upset that they're closing up, but yeah, they didn't take any sides. If you were popular, you were on the cover of Mad. They were making fun of you at some point in time so we wouldn't take you too seriously. But in a time where they're trying to get everybody to take themselves so seriously and they don't even know themselves, they try to get them to take their political party serious, and their political party does what everybody else does because the bank sent them. They can't have people laughing at those who are janitors. They can't have you laughing at the janitors in Washington. They need you to take them seriously. They need you to take their mop seriously. They need you to take the murder wars and the cleanup jobs seriously. You know, because when people are laughing, they're making friends. When you're laughing with other people, you're having a good time. You're realizing that you see the same things. You're getting commonalities. And when people are all laughing at all the same people, you can have commonalities. And what is a common? You know, the short common, community. And when you have community, you have what's called common sense. You're sensing common things. You're realizing and sensing that these people are from the bank. They're all bankers, all right? That's what you realize. They can't have that. They need you on your little ignorant, bigoted, naive side, hiding under the cover, scared of the other side. So this is upsetting.
In 1952, Mad was a publication for a different generation. It's lost its place in an era where offense-taking and victimhood have become new norms. Cartoonists...
Right, because they're trying to make politics cool. They're trying to make war cool. They're trying to make violation and violating other people and bullying and ganging up on people cool because they were born in a different place or born in a different skin or born with a different income from their parents, right? They're trying to get you to take yourself seriously. And this is but this is against what all the generations taught. The generations taught us that we need to make the next generation stronger, not stupider. Politics isn't cool. Politics is for fools. That's Mr. T-ism. That's right.
Now are gagged by hypersensitive readers and profit-driven media moguls. Cracking jokes is a risky business nowadays. As the New York Times found out after a Jewish-themed illustration, went a little wrong, and it scrapped all political cartoons. And just in case anyone missed its first apology, it did another one, you know, to be on the safe side.
We are deeply sorry for the publication of an anti-Semitic political cartoon last Thursday in the print edition of the New York Times that circulates outside of the United States, and we are committed to making sure nothing like this ever happens again. Such imagery is always dangerous, and at a time when anti-Semitism is on the rise worldwide, it's all the more unacceptable.
And sometimes you just need a...
Anti-Semitism is not on the rise. Sorry, it's not. It's not on the rise. The only anti-Semitism that's really happening is in Zionists. The Zionists are oppressing the Jews. They always have been. Good morning. I think we didn't have somebody famous that came through the door. Sinclair Rothschild is here. Hey, Sinclair, how you doing? How you doing, Sinclair? Can I ask you a question? Are you really a part of the Rothschild? If you are, I'm about to change everything I'm about to say. I'm going to change all this up. When the master come through the door, y'all, this is when you shut up. I don't know. I know Sinclair. I know. I seen you around Facebook. I see your page. I was trying to figure out, are you like a Rothschild, or are you like a Rothschild? I ain't trying to get killed. I'll talk about presidents all day till I'm blue in the face. I'll talk about the Democrats, the Republicans, the white people, the black people, the Hispanic people, the Asian people, the women, the men. I don't care nothing about because they ain't got no power. They all just slaves on this big plantation. But if you from the bank, if you're from the central banks and your family own the central banks that own most of the nations on this planet, then this is when you really, all right, I'm just playing. I know Rothschild, I know you're not. I don't really know.
A helping hand in policing offense. For example, Instagram decided to remove this cartoon from a political meme account under the general banner that it was offensive. The account was also put on notice, told it could be shut down at any moment.
It might shut you down on digital forms, but it's really the best time to be a comedian or to be a truth teller or to be a satirical cartoonist right now because it's such a sensitive time, it's actually in demand. It's a great time to be someone who's criticizing and making political commentary and cultural commentary right now.
Being too political can make you a voodoo doll for social justice warriors, but can also cross the line when it comes to your manager. Just ask veteran cartoonist Rob Rogers, who had worked for 25 years for one outlet. He found dozens of his anti-Trump cartoons rejected and a severance package waiting on his desk.
Did your editors give you reasons?
No, they didn't give me any reason at all, so you'd have to ask them. But the common theme in all the ones that have been rejected is that I'd say like 90% of them have something to do with Trump. So there's a clear pattern that they were trying to sort of tamp down the voice that I was having about, being critical of Trump.
Puts a very realistic spin on Trump's catchphrase, "You're fired," because making fun of reality has become a minefield. Now, shortly after MAD was set up in the 50s, its creator had to testify in Congress on the negative effects his comics were having on the youth of America. Concerned doctors spoke at the hearing, worried about whether this innocent generation was prepared for the horrors of satire.
It is my opinion, without any reasonable doubt and without any reservation, that comic books are an important contributing factor in many cases of juvenile delinquency.
Perhaps they knew what was coming, but for the magazine, it seems society has had the last laugh.
We're in an era of political correctness. From a private perspective, you have the right to censor anything you want. If you don't want pornography or, fatal videos on your platform, that's totally fine. When the government starts censoring, I find that a bit alarming. The idea that some authority is going to determine what's safe for us to hear and what's not safe is ridiculous. Expressing different political opinions is the best thing you can do. It's important that people say what they believe. And that's why no matter what the opinion is, I'd rather the person say it and believe what they're saying and be able to say it so everyone can look at that and hear it and judge it for themselves.
That's what we talk about. That's why hate speech is important. You need to know what people think. You got to know what they think. You have to know why they think it. You have to know where they're from if you want to solve it. If you don't want to solve it, you just want to beat it down. You want to take on the whole mindset, the violent mindset, the colonizer. We're going to join up with some groups and beat down people instead of actually solve the problems. If you want to be that ignorant, you can be. But this is great. Well, it's not great that they're shutting MAD down. It's great that they're having that conversation. Because that's the thing about comedy. Comedy, and I think, who was it? Rebecca talking about the court jesters, right? So the court jesters, a lot of them lost their heads, but they could make jokes about the king if it was funny. It was funny, you get to keep your head. They didn't just take off heads, Lori. They took off other things too, But we live in a time where people are hungry for truthful things. They are. Well, the adults are. Let's be honest. Right now, if you want to get big now, you need to pick a team. You got to join a bigoted group, right? And you can get big because you got a lot of people who are scared. But if you just want to say truthful things, it's a great time for it because you have so many adults who are acting like children, being outraged, or who just they haven't seen all the dots and connect them together yet. That you're supposed to just look out for people from the banks. Pizzagate. Oh, okay. Epstein is Pizzagate. Dawn said. Okay. Yeah, I didn't know anything about it. I understand there was something to the whole Pizzagate thing. I think anytime a child is being harmed, a government's supposed to investigate it. If they don't investigate it, it tells you that they really don't have any issue with children being harmed. And they don't. Not my government. Maybe yours does. I got to change how I speak because I don't actually have a government. I have captors. I have people who feel that they own me and I'm subject to their laws because the land is theirs because they're within the lineage of people who murdered a whole bunch of people and stole it. And I think doesn't make me any property of theirs. Yes, Gerard, so many never grew up. Growing up is hard to do, Susan. Growing up is hard to do. Growing up is, and it's ugly, and it's frightening. It's frightening to kind of like really start to accept that the world isn't the way the television says it is. The world isn't the way that your parents handed it to you. The world isn't the way that your uncles and all these people say. That the world actually is a very evil place, and it's kept evil because you keep certain people in Elysium. You keep people in privileged positions. That's all of America. I'm not all of America. If you live in America, you live in a very privileged situation. You live in the UK, you're in a very privileged situation. You have no business talking about anybody else. You can pick up a phone and press a button and drones bring food. That we are the most ignorant people on the planet. And we sit here and we fight over who has the most privilege and the most privileged nation in the world. And to me, it's stupid. You'll never have equality. Somebody said that the other day. You'll never have equality. All you'll have is a fair ecosystem where the creatures can go off and live and do what they got to do. The government is up to their neck in Pizzagate and Pettigate. Patricia, and they've always been. They've always been. Powerful people always abuse children. Powerful people always abuse the citizens. Powerful people always abuse each other. That's just what a psychopath is. Yeah, exactly, Rebecca. They think they're gods. And as long as they think they're gods, there's nothing you can tell them. You'll catch the ones that are always on the lowest rung. The lowest rung. And so if anything happens to him, it's because he's on the lowest rung. That's all. He's the one they're just serving up. They'll serve him up because he pissed somebody off at a cocktail party or something. They'll just we'll push him out of the club. But the rest of the people in the club, they're going to keep doing everything that they're doing, and they're not going to stop. We are at war with reality itself, every one of us. Exactly, Beaufort. It's a war. It's a war. And this is where Alex Jones is right. It's an information war. It's completely an information war. And either you are succeeding at getting more information and processing what's happening in the world, or you're just being led astray like a fool, believing what's on TV and in the news. Our world can be whatever we want it to be. Yes, it can be. Is that one of my quotes? Did I say that, Susan? Well, we can. And it's not my quote. This is what they've been saying since the beginning of time. You make your world what you want it to be. I make my world every day. Every day I'm making my world. I don't give two damns about the fake world. I don't care two damns about the banker world. I don't give two damns about your Democrat and Republican world. It's y'all are evil. You're killers. You need to stop. You need to grow up. You need to thou stop killing and thou stop stealing and take in some natural laws, some basic codes, and leave everybody alone. Respect everybody's free will. But in the meantime, I just live as a captive. I am captive by people who destroyed this land, and I want to be free. USA is a tenth of the world, but it has 45% of all the guns. Exactly, Sarah. And why is that? So somebody answer Sarah's question. Why is that? Why is the U.S., who's fighting for common sense gun control, why do they have all the weapons? Because they're the janitors. It's their job to destroy nations. It is their obligation to take those weapons and funnel them all around the world to children, so children can fight, because all the parents are dead in the nations they destroyed. And then convince the Americans here who watch TV that they're fighting for some common sense gun control. The biggest weapons dealer in the world, actually has concerns for your neighbor because they got some weapons. That is not what's going on. That is not what's going on. All right, there was something else I saw I thought was interesting in the news. Looking at the news and trying to determine if this news is from something that's truthful or from the banks. The banks in the news. I forgot this was playing. What was I doing? I was playing hydrangea. That's what I was doing. I was fighting the Rothschild. Sinclair. I wasn't fighting y'all. I was not fighting y'all. Nope. I was planting hydrangea because I like flowers. That's what I was going to display. Let's check this out. See what's happening with Deutsche Bank.
Let's go tell people they'll only pay for what they need with Liberty Mutual.
No, let's not do that. Commercials, boy,
We count likes,
Another one. Oh my gosh. YouTube, that's right, they do that. They play 2 and 3 commercials.
Tonight with a bank that doesn't seem to be able to get out of its own way, right? It also reached a $7.2 billion settlement with the U.S. Justice Department in January 2017 for allegedly mishandling investors in the sale of mortgage-backed securities in the lead up to the financial meltdown. These headlines and others in the last several years, they remain a public embarrassment. But now, Deutsche Bank is in the news again. with even more serious financial troubles. It is firing 18,000 workers over the next 3 years. In fact, many were told to get their stuff and to leave today. What gives? Deutsche Bank says it's simply restructuring its business model. But is it? And joining us now is Professor Richard Wolff, who is a noted economics professor at UMass Amherst and who's also followed, by the way, by hundreds of thousands of people worldwide. All right, let's talk about this thing with Deutsche Bank. What I'm hearing and reading today from experts is, don't worry about it. All they're doing is restructuring, maybe changing their model somewhat. Not that big a deal. What do you say?
I say that you shouldn't believe such stories. It may be true. That's the whole point. It may be, but it may not be. And that's the terrible condition we're in. To listen to them, the people that, the so-called experts. Let me just remind you, in the months leading up to the collapse of Lehman Brothers back in 2008, the kind of opening gun together with the collapse of Bear Stearns that brought us the global capitalist collapse, it would be easy to find statements by experts, by bank CEOs, by Wall Street commentators telling us not to worry, it's a detail, it only affects one bank. None of that is normally true. Deutsche Bank is the biggest bank in Germany. It is one of the biggest banks in Europe and the world. If it has serious troubles, those troubles are also affecting other banks, and they're affecting the interactions between a monster bank like Deutsche and all the other banks, since these banks do enormous amount of business with one another. The truth of it is, the people who run these banks hide their difficulties from the shareholders because they want to keep their jobs, from the political authorities because they want to keep the people from looking too closely, their workers because they don't want to freak people out that their jobs might be in danger. So what we're left with is very little. Lots of PR and a big question mark, because clearly that bank is in serious trouble, but we won't know the extent of it until they're good and ready or something blows, and then the whole game is up.
Yeah, see, did y'all get anything from that? I got nothing. I got nothing from that. And that's how you know what's wrong with the world. There's no WikiLeaks releases. There's nothing going on. I have no idea what the hell is going on. Because the banks run everything. And not Deutsche Bank, because it kind of sounds like they're a little bank. Like, we're one of the biggest banks in the world. Just ask the question, do they print money? Do they print money? Are they a central bank? Do they own nations? Do they print currency for them? Because I think they're two, and somebody correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know nothing about Deutsche Bank, but they could be the bank of Guala Flu Flip-Flop. If they don't print the money, then they might be subject to politicians. The ones who print the money absolutely are not subject to governments. They run those governments. So Deutsche Bank might be a big bank. What could be happening? There's no way for us to know. Like politicians, they're leaks because they're weak, they're small, they're janitors, information get out, But big banks, information never leaks out from there. This might just be a Deutsche Bank thing. I don't know. The owner of Deutsche Bank was playing off one of the Rothschilds and he won on accident. And the Rothschild was like, all right, that's it. You're done. We're just going to fire you. You're the biggest bank in Germany. See ya. Because the biggest bank in Germany is still subject to the German government, then it's not one of the powerful banks. It's one of the little baby banks. And they'll squash them under the rug. But I can't watch that because there's never enough information on banks. There's never enough information for us to even try to even process what's going on. Those things happen so high above what we know that there's no way we could process any of that. Let me see what else y'all got. All people have a price. Some are just more expensive than others. How would any of us know if a person were actually serving their time? No, you're right, Ms. T, and nobody would know. And everybody does have a price. The banks print the money. That's why we need to look at things from that perspective. Everybody has. Well, let's say that you know what? I'm gonna disagree with that a little bit, though. I don't think everybody has a price. I think everybody who wants to be a leader has a price. I think everybody who wants to control people has a price. Everybody who is subject to that psychopathy where you think that you know better, that you got to control people's lives, I think those people all have a price. I think spiritual people don't. Like, I don't have a price. I don't have a price. I'm not actually here. I'm literal wave energy, and they can't kill me. And I think this is the problem with spirituality. This is why all of those channels on Facebook are being shut down for like all the energy work and spirituality and everything. Because when people, if you can take spirituality and make it a religion, then you can break it and you can make people ignorant, right? You can make them fearful of death. If you don't fear death, then you don't really have a price, right? Like, you can't be sold out. So I think everybody has a price who has maybe the genes flipped and warrior genes or whatever that is. But when you can like stand up on a statement like bombing children is wrong. I will never bomb children. I don't care if you're going to kill me. I don't care if you're going to kill everybody I know. I don't care if you can kill all my friends on Facebook. Like, it doesn't really matter. Killing babies is bad. It's never going to be good, and I'm never going to accept it. I'm never going to do it. I'm never going to vote for you. I'm never going to support your system. You're evil. You need to go to hell. So everybody has a price, I think, that wants to control people, right? Like, if you still believe in this stuff and you're fearful of, I guess, the loss, then yeah, because they can threaten you. They can offer you money, whatever it is. But I think if you have core values, like if you really have those core values, if you really believe, and this is with the danger with the original root religion, which I think we lost, is that it explained to people that you don't die, that you're an actual spirit, a quantum physics, atomic matter, wave energy spiritual creature, that you don't actually die. And that's why they had to, that's why I think they broke religions with it. Because if you actually believe in something greater than government, if you believe in something greater than geopolitics and world domination and control, you believe in something bigger than the local mall and consumerism. If you believe that you shouldn't be killing, then you don't support these things. If you believe that money changers and bankers are inherently evil, then you don't bother with those things. If you believe money breaks human beings, not that money's evil, it's just a tool, but it's a tool. It's like handing a baby a nuclear weapon. You don't hand toddlers nuclear weapons. Money in the hands of 98% monkeys that haven't evolved past domination, can control of each other. It's one of the most horrible things they can have. So money can't exist, you know. And if you don't believe in those things, then I don't think you have a price. So I kind of think that I think most people have a price, Miss T, because most people are indoctrinated to have a price. They're indoctrinated to believe in this system. But I think there are a lot of people more and more who are growing up, and they're just realizing that where all this is going is not going to be a good place, and that we need to start standing up on true ethics and true morals and true respect for each other and human life, that we need to rediscover our humanity. And once we do that, we realize we're a part of a collective, and it doesn't really matter what you do to me. As long as that thought moves on and the collective goes on, you know, whatever you do to me, it justifies that I was doing the right thing. That's what I kind of think. There you go, Gerard, to that. That is what I resonate with, quantum physics. Well, Susan, I think that science and religion are the same thing. Well, no, I keep messing that up. Science and the root religion are the same thing. Not science and the religion that Moses jacked up with Aaron. The King James screwed with, and other people just said, yeah, there's a root faith which basically explained, I think, quantum physics and, well, a lot of the aspects of quantum physics. Like, you know, how could a God be omnipotent? It's called quantum entanglement, right? Like, I think that science is starting to explain those things that were in the book of Jeremiah, that some things will get revealed in the end of time. And this God thing, whatever it is, I just think it's a great scientist. It's an amazing scientist, and because it wields things that are so far beyond us, it seems mystical. And for the sake of that description, I don't think mystical and mysterious and omnipotent, I don't think that it changes any of those definitions, whether God is some massive scientist or it is a puff of smoke on a cloud. I think it's all the same thing. You know, we just have different ways of describing it. All right. Bashar said that there are many Earths we can resonate on and vibrate on. I don't know who Bashar is. Bashar, is that the king of Iran? Who's that? Bashar, I've heard that name before. I haven't followed that. Well, we can get into quantum physics. I love stuff like that. I think it's important. I think it's an aspect of spirituality that people who still go to churches should really start to look into. I think if you were raised like studying scripture, you'll start to see the synergies, like what was it, the Thoth and the Emerald Tablets. When you read that, scripture resonates all throughout. And when there are books that are older than these scriptures, translations of these scriptures into Hebrew and Arabic, and it goes back before that, then it kind of explains that there is a root religion. So I think world conflicts over religion is stupid. It's for the ignorant. It's for the people who don't understand that there was a God, whatever you call it, and it did some things here. And there is evolution. All of that is true, but nobody's got it spot on right. Not enough to kill other people over. I got second-degree assault against my oldest daughter's father. Long story, but the only thing I did wrong that night was pick up that knife. Well, Sarah, yeah, you know what? I don't know anything to the details of that, but I will say our government's based in conflict, right? They cheer conflict. They cheer conflict amongst the people. And so the laws aren't written for safety. They're not written for us to be safe. The laws are written to keep us in conflict. And they'll go back and forth and penalize anyone who they can to make sure that we're always in conflict with. We're always picking up knives and in conflict with each other or trying to defend ourselves. They literally make people more violent and dangerous because the more scared we are, the more we cheer for what they're doing. And that's how that works, right? The more scared we are of each other, the less we want to help each other. The more we want to go to government and roll out more police state laws, take away more people's rights so they can have more power. It's just a bank thing. This is why these young kids were always taught to shoot the bankers. The bankers are what's wrong with the world. They literally broke the world. And that's why nobody is themselves. Criminals versus government. John, I don't know what you're talking about. The government are the criminals. What are you talking about? What are you talking about? If the many worlds interpretation of quantum physics is correct, we may basically be in a choose your own adventure game. Patricia, I believe that. I believe that. I was watching a theory once, some lecturer who was explaining that, you know, when we go to sleep, we go back to some sort of game lobby, something like that, that the things we manifest, they become real. Like things we believe actually become true. And the only thing that makes sense in my mind based on what he said was that, yeah, when you go to sleep, you're picking and choosing these multiverse, which universes you wake up in. And every night I go to sleep, Patricia, I'm like, don't let me wake up in the dumb monkey universe. Please, send me to the universe where people don't trust their government. Please send me to the universe where they don't trust their kings and lords. They've been raping and murdering and killing them all since the beginning of time. Wake up! And I wake up and I'm not there yet. I don't believe enough yet. That could be true, but I keep waking up in 98% monkey world that we're constantly abused by government lords and kings, and everybody wants to cheer who's going to be the next government lord and king to hold the whip and beat us. No, Gerard. Daryl Anka channels Bashar his futuristic self. Oh, but Bashar includes a number of futuristic humans and part of an enlightened group in the future of Daryl Anka channels. Okay, I don't know anything about that. So if you have something, I'll watch it. I'll watch anything. I'll watch any lecture. I think there's a degree of truth to everything. So I'll look at anything. I learned they use my Rottweiler to do dog training. What to do with dogs? They use my Rottweiler to do dog training. What to do with dogs? Are you alluding to we are like trained dogs? That they train us as dogs, they make us violent, they give us mental illness, they write the laws for artificial scarcity, and like a dog that you raise to be rough and tough and aggressive. That's how we treat each other. That's why we got a prison system, a mass incarceration, imprisoning children system, because you take children who are having trouble in troubled homes and you can make them real psychopaths. by just putting them in a cage with other psychopaths and limiting their food, raising the aggression, making them angry, and then you let them free on the population to bring about even more fear. That whole recidivism rate that none of the politicians are actually fighting, they're cheering because it makes you cheer them more. Yeah, that makes sense to me. That's how you make a dog angry. That's how you make a good watchdog is you beat them, you starve them, you make them aggressive, and it makes you more powerful. You said it, my point exactly. So when government talks about the criminal question, it's everybody's got it. The narrative, he was convinced in a court of law. When the government talks about a criminal question, when the government talks about a criminal question, yeah, what's up, John? I don't listen to criminals talk about criminals. I don't listen to people eating burgers talking about people eating burgers. I don't listen to people. I don't like the whole hypocrisy thing. And there's nothing more treasonously criminal than to turn on your people. And so long as if so many people believe in government leadership model, is your government actually for you, or is it just controlling you? And I just see it's just controlling. That's why pretty much every post I make, I hashtag treason, because it's all treasonous. They've turned on the people. Literally, the federal government's job is to abuse the American citizens. And this American citizens, they keep coming back. They just keep, like, y'all know any abused friends? You know how many women I've tried to talk out of these abused relationships and marriages, guy just beating the hell out of them? I'm not even going to tell you how many people who have stayed at my house because they were getting beat to hell by some dude or something. I'm not going to go back into the times I probably almost died. I was probably in crosshairs because I was defending people. But they keep going back. Well, not all of them. Some of the women would get it, like, yep, that's an abusive relationship. I get it, and I'm out. And it tends to be the ones who were like raised in good homes and they were raised in love. But the ones who were just raised and they were abused as kids, or they just were like liabilities to their parent, or their parents were just so busy working so many jobs they didn't have time to raise them, they'd always go back. They go back for more abuse again and again and again. And finally, I kind of left that establishment. I mean, I help anybody I can help, but for the most part, it's like, I just see that as voters. Like, literally, their government abuses them over and over and over, and they keep going back, and the black eye gets worse, and you got two black eyes, and then they slice you, and then he beats the hell out of you, put you in the hospital, and they just keep going back, voting for more, and it's just, I see it as the same thing. But if you can make something normal, if you can normalize abuse in a woman, she'll blame herself. And that's the crazy thing. I had a friend who ran a domestic violence shelter in West Virginia. That's what she talked about. And this is why she was against, who's that? Creepy Biden. Creepy Biden and his Violence Against Women's Act. Her point was that, it's a mental illness type of situation that needs to be dealt with, not from a justice perspective, but a mental illness perspective, because the women are seeking these men. And the men feel that they're supposed to do this because they were all raised in abuse, and that you have to heal both or it never stops. Taking one, putting one in prison, and keeping one safe and putting them back out in the world, they would just go back and find another abusive man. And if they couldn't find an abusive man, they would abuse the man until he started hitting her, because it was a way of, I mean, I'm not a psychologist or anything, but this is what she was saying, and she worked with psychologists. I guess she had to be one, I don't remember. Is that Carrie? Carrie, you know who I'm talking about. Carrie, I thought I saw Carrie here. Carrie, we used to be activists together a long time ago. That you have to heal, right? That you have to heal both people. Because it's pointless to take a man, and sometimes women abuse men, so I'm just giving an example. If you take an abusive man and you put him in prison, are you making him better? Right? So if the man is mentally ill because he's beating on a woman, and all men who beat on women are mentally ill, all of them, every last one of them, none of them are beating on women because it makes them feel like a big guy. They're all mentally ill. Only a person can beat on another person who they used to love or still love. That's not normal. That's psychopathy. That's on that psychopathy spectrum. And it's not making an excuse. It's just saying there's always a reason, and they probably came from an abusive home, whatever. But her point was, yeah, you got to protect her, but you got to fix him too. There's no use in taking him, putting him in prison, and making him worse, and come out and kill her, or kill someone else, or abuse someone else. You know, and this is why the government doesn't solve anything. They actually take problems and they make them worse, knowing that they began the problem to begin with through artificial scarcity. But then she needs help too, and that's why she opened a shelter for helping women, not just to keep them safe, but to help them with seeing that they have value above someone putting their hands on them. You know, but anyway, we went off in a couple of different places right there, but you know, it's that abusive mentality. You know, if you can normalize abuse in voters, it's the same thing. They keep voting for the abuse. The government keeps abusing them, treason after treason after treason, throwing all their kids in prison, shooting them in the streets, poisoning them, and everybody born at the time like, oh, this is normal. This is what government's supposed to do. They're supposed to poison our food, put carcinogens on our tomatoes, and bomb other nations. This is normal. I'm going to keep voting for it because, you know, you normalize the abuse. Going to sleep is like going to the movies. I think it is, Ivana. I think when you go to sleep, you see things that some are real, some aren't real. Some you could say come from soul, some you could say come from God or whatever you want to call it. But when we go to sleep, you know, we are wave energy, and you know, it's like when people have the near-death experiences and they feel like they're floating above their body. I think when you go to sleep, it's kind of like that. I think I got that from a lecture. Somebody was saying something. But that we all interact more when we're asleep. And it kind of explains why people around the world come to the same mindsets and the same ideas at the same time, right? Because we're all quantumly entangled anyway, right? But when you go to sleep, that you take on a new, you know, that DMT gets released out of your pineal gland, whatever. I think I heard it explained once, and that we all interact because we're all one. We're not individuals. Like, you know, we are individuals, and when we're driving these little biological human cattle things, but we're all interconnected. You know, in fact, Edgar Cayce was a great example. When he'd go to sleep, you know, to solve a problem, he said he'd go to sleep and he'd wake up and he knew what someone's ailment was. Right? I don't know if he ever said he was going to look in the Akashic records or whatever, but you know, some people are more in tap with that than others are, and I think that's what Christ was. If you ask me, you know, I think Christ, was the. Well, do you believe he was the Son of God? I think you're all sons of God. Literally, I think you're all sons of God, and you're all daughters of God. And God is not a man; he's not a male. You know, I think that's so far beyond our understanding that God just didn't bother telling us because we're 98% monkey. There are people who are in tap with that better and others who aren't. And it probably has a lot to do with the functionality of your pineal gland. I think that kind of makes some sense. If you're drinking all the chlorine and the fluoride, and your pineal gland calcifies. I don't know how much science there is there, so don't quote me on none of that. But I hear people talking about it all the time, and it makes sense. I mean, if I were kings and lords, if I were banks and rulers and robber barons, I would definitely want to make sure that when y'all go to sleep, y'all monkeys ain't talking about me. Who likes to be talked about when you know, there was a whole lot of them. When y'all go to sleep, you can't be an interconnected matrix where you're trying to figure out how to get freedom, liberty, and sovereignty. Hell no, I'm gonna put fluoride in all your food and chlorine and calcify your pineal gland so when you go to sleep, it doesn't release enough DMT, so you never go to that dream state that all the Native Americans talked about and the Australians talked about, the dream where the Egyptians and what our ancestors always tried to hand down to us until they colonized the world, murdered all of them, destroyed and burned the history, and told us that we come from booty scratchers that wore skirts and threw spears. Right? We came from Germanic tribes that were barbarians and pagans. We came from European and British tribes that were monsters. But we all came from great people, and those people tried to hand down that. But I think to own a world, you have to break that. You know, so I don't know. I think it's interesting. I think it fits the model with what kings and governments and lords have always done. But you know, it kind of touches on some things that are, I think, scientific now. Now quantum physics is out there, which basically said physics isn't real. Quantum physics basically broke physics. Quantum physics broke all the sciences, which I love it. That's why I love quantum physics. I try to get everybody look at it. I mean, there's a lot of woo-woo, and there's a lot of trying to connect dots, and the dots aren't there yet, which is fine. But it basically said that almost nothing is what we actually think it is, and that literally everything is possible. And on a laptop, everything is possible. because you can write your own software. And that's the battle between the conscious and the subconscious mind. Is your subconscious is always taking in the programming. It's just a database taking in information. So if you're listening to violent, aggressive music, you let your kids listen to it. You're around violent, aggressive people, that you're programming your subconscious. And your conscious mind doesn't really matter what your conscious mind wants. Your default reactions will be based in your subconscious. You know, it's a whole lot there. We just did a whole lot. Let me get some comments. Yeah, it was a lot of stuff, but when I got to prison, it was the first time in my life I was not being abused. Sad but true. Oof, that's a scary thought, Sarah. That actually there are. Well, I think there are prisons that actually they got good people in there who actually are trying to help people rehabilitate and create safe environments. The story, Sarah, that I got from a good brother of mine that spent way too much time in is prison is not the place to be. You know, and he jumped around through a couple of them, and the things that he said to me, oh my gosh. I mean, that's why I don't believe in the system anymore. I don't believe in anything in the system. I mean, the things that we let happen to children in prison, I don't really give a damn what the federal government says about anybody, anywhere, about anything ever. They're monsters. They are complete monsters. That's why I'm on the Martin Luther King. We need a constitutional convention. We need to reboot the whole damn thing. Like, to me, the entire federal government blue screen. You know, the whole thing is just jacked. You just gotta hit reboot. Because I mean, it's like, at a certain point in time, things are so corrupt. Your computer, your laptop is so corrupt. Your smartphone is just not working. Every button you're pressing is doing the wrong thing. You're calling wrong people, and it's not working. You can't read the screen. At a certain point in time, you say, this thing is so corrupt and jacked up. I gotta reboot it. And that's what a constitutional convention is about. It's about rebooting it. Now, there are a lot of dangers that come with that because when you do a constitutional convention, the state governments actually restructure the federal government. They can write amendments and delete amendments and things like that. And state governments are almost as corrupt. I disagree with Brother John. He says they're more corrupt. I think they're almost as corrupt. I think total power is total corruption. And the states don't have total power. The states have a lot of power they shouldn't have. You know, they violate the Bill of Rights too, but they're not as corrupt. So we got to fix state governments, and that could be a peaceful way out. But I'm mostly leaning towards collapse. I think the whole thing just completely needs a reboot. Because I mean, at the core of it, we have core issues, right? We have core issues with like land ownership. We have core issues with monetary systems and money being there. We have core issues with children being born into debt and they're forced to work their entire lives to pay back debts just for being born a human in a country. Like, we have core issues, I think, that have to get resolved. When people are dying, trailer parks, ghettos, and burials because they don't have any food, core issues got to be addressed. Right? So I don't believe in just reboot the Constitution and the Bill of Rights. You know, there were holes. There were holes and things slipped through. We need a paradigm shift. We need a whole new model of government. It's not socialism and it's not communism and damn sure ain't crony capitalism. We need a systemic change based in sovereignty. We need a basis where the basis of the system is children. Like, where the basis of the system is to make children better than what we are. The basis of the system is to value how smart, intelligent, happy, and free we can make children. You know, what's it like a GDP? Take the GDP and make it the FDP, the gross domestic freedom, or GDF, gross domestic freedom, or the GDH, right? Gross domestic happiness. When the basis and the core of the system for humans is about humans, not about banks and money and big corporations and governing models, like, that's the systemic change that we need. But anyway, that's why they killed Martin Luther King. It had nothing to do with him being black and racism and nothing. AJ killed him because he was like, we need to reboot this thing. We need to reboot the computer. The blue screen is not working. It's not working for too many. Poor whites, poor blacks, and damn sure not the poor Vietnamese. When you are programmed, it sticks to your deprogram. Right, Lori? Which is why this is why we say you gotta grow up. You have to, and that's why the name Chris got the name of his show is Deprogram to Reprogram. That's why that scripture says you got to empty your cup to fill it. And when you take those wise sayings and you process them for today, you got to empty your cup to fill it. You can't say, oh, I'm woke. Are you woke? I'm woke. I'm woke AF. Y'all like the woke AF thing? Oh yeah. What are you? That's what I like to look at. Like I don't really ask people because I think it scares them. But when they say they're woke and I say, oh yeah, tell me about you. Are you woke? Like I listen to what they say. And when I start hearing the indoctrinated statements, they're American, they're black, they're Italian, they're this, they're right, they lean left. I just hear indoctrination. What exactly are you woke to? I think if you're woke to the fact that we're always played against each other, that human beings aren't allowed to be themselves, that human beings are driven by these spiritual creatures and the basis of everything should be sovereignty for the human beings and self and respect for everybody's peaceful self and leave them alone. To me, that's woke. You know, you got to empty that cup to fill it. And if you empty everything out the cup, but you keep the race, if you pour that cup out, you pour your cup out like, I'm going to pour some out for the homies. And you keep that religion in there, you pouring your cup out, and you keep that nation in. I'm going to pour everything out but the flag. I'm going to pour everything. You have to pour it all out. You have to completely empty your cup. You have to completely deprogram, because all of that program is put there to control you. That's the only way that I think that you start to find sort of impartial truth. You got to get rid of all the parts in the Kool-Aid. Spousal abuse is a form of self-loathing. You're right. Absolutely agree, Miss T. It's not that I'm right. I listen to people who know what they're talking about. And I know that I don't know what I'm talking about when it comes to psychopathy. I listen to people who studied it and study people. I listen to the people who the governments never do, and that's why they write the laws to make it worse. They don't write laws to actually fix the problems. The REM state is required in order to produce the hormones necessary for happy hormones. Without the correct REM cycle, depression is given. Ooh, Miss T, are you indicating that somehow suppressing the pineal gland keeps us from REM sleep to make people a little more aggressive, perhaps to give them a little more conflict, that perhaps that's why 60% of our nation's women don't even want to get out of bed in the morning and deal with the society unless they take their antidepressants? That would actually make sense to me. That would make sense. If people aren't sleeping or they're doing things to keep people from sleeping, that you would create more conflict and more problems. And the more problems they have, the bigger the government can get. To me, it just sounds like a business model. And now that you're saying that, it makes me wonder, has anyone studied 5G in serotonin or dopamine or REM cycles? Can 5G affect REM cycles? I mean, it's not even a question, can it? Of course it can. You know, can it affect it significantly, right? When you take that wavelength from 4.6 gigahertz up to 60 gigahertz, but you only call it 5G, you're shortening that wave distance. What do they say? It's like 2 inches or something like that now. Could you actually affect human sleep cycles? And if you could, oh my goodness, can you imagine that power in the hands of a government that's never on your side? Can you imagine what they can do? They can make a whole town go crazy. And it to me, and outside the conspiracy side, because some of y'all sit back and say, it's just conspiracy. Just remember this, the kings and lords always conspire against us. And the next point is, should anybody have that power? Like sometimes you just got to keep it simple. Like you don't have to go and say, my government's not against me, they love me. Okay, but should they have that power? Should they have the ability to see through your house with 5G? Should they have the ability to control sleep cycles? Like, cause then you start thinking about, what's the name of that project? Where they make the Manchurian candidates. What's the name? And they released that they were studying the psychedelics to try to make people go crazy and make a Manchurian candidates. Project something. One of y'all are posted. But anyway, trying to control people. That we know our CIA's been up to that for the longest time. And you think that they would say no to using 5G to make someone go crazy so they can go, I don't know, and shoot a politician or president or neighbor or shoot up their bank or school? The more conflict that happens, the more power they get, because the more people yell and scream for gun control from the #1 weapons dealer on the planet. All right, let me think now. MK Ultra, yes, somebody said that. Yes, Patricia, MK Ultra, right? And so I mean, if you're new to what these people are saying here, just go like look some of these things up. That's all you got to do. Sounds crazy. It sounds nuts. Go look it up. Go look it up. One of the greatest things that ever happened in our nation was not 1776 and the independence we did not get. It actually is the Freedom of Information Act and the internet. Because now with the Freedom of Information Act and the internet, we're starting to see cracks in the matrix. We're starting to see cracks that none of this is actually what the television every always says it is. So I always ask the question.
Y'all from the bank? Hold it right chair. Y'all from the bank?
That's all you gotta ask. Just ask that question. Process everything through that. If it serves central banking, if it serves control of the human race, if it serves control of farming human beings like they're cattle in races and countries and nations and religions, then it's probably, to me, it's not a conspiracy. It's a business plan, right? And what in a world full of people who need money in monetary currency systems, who's not going to invoke a business plan that'll make profit? You know how many people I know who are like trying to start businesses and all the crazy wild ideas they have, they all want to make money. You mean to tell me there's going to be a business plan, something that you call conspiracy, but it literally is profitable and no one's going to do it? Come on. Everything is economics. Always take it back to economics. It's plausibility in economics. Conspiracy theories aren't business plans. Business plans will always get invoked. And as long as we allow systemically for these things to happen, they always will happen because everybody and most people want to rule the world. Walking away from the dramas is freedom's front door. That's it, Lori. And then laugh at it. Walk away and laugh at it. That's what I say. Walk away and laugh. Laugh at the ridiculousness of the adults who still believe. Don't laugh at the adults. Don't laugh at them. We want people to wake up. We want people to walk away. We don't want them to get more outraged about some damn scales on a mermaid that is in a cartoon and the color of it. It's the same with addiction. People addicted feel worthless. And they're thrown in prison, being punished and reaffirming their worthlessness instead of treating the trauma or mental illness that leads to their addiction. Right, and that's how it works. We literally blame people for what environment made them. And I'm not making excuses for people. I'm just saying that, is this working? Is this a sustainable path, taking mentally ill people who were abused by their parents or their uncles or whatever, and just seeking justice? There's safety, but then there's solving problems at the root level. And that really is the core of the only message that I really even have is process everything, taking all the data you can, find the root problem, and deploy a root solution. Right? And politics is the exact opposite of that. They actually look for side effects to make profitable the problems that come out of the root problem. That's why I don't do politics. Politics is about making problems sustainable and making money in industry from that where they can get retirement. That's why I'm not for the Williamsons and I'm not for any of it. We have a model problem. We don't have a politician problem. Politicians are just fantasy. We all have gifts that we are supposed to use to help the community. Like one of my gifts is I feel others' pains and joys. I also see things to come. And Sarah, and that's what you should be doing. Right? Like, it's stupid. I don't know what you do for a living. And good to meet you, by the way. But it's stupid to actually make you go and earn money to live, to pay off a debt that you had nothing to do with because you happened to be born in the United States. That's the dumbest thing I ever heard. If you have a gift of helping people, then you should be out there helping people on your schedule, in your time, when you feel like it, when you got the energy. That's called freedom. That's called independence. We need to be independent. We just went through Independence Day and I'm just sitting here like, they literally gave everybody a day off to celebrate their independence. Like literally, they gave everybody one day off to celebrate independence. So like, I think we got an issue with what the word independence means. And dependent. All right. feel we come from beings from another planet, and I also feel that humans have been messed with to whatever degree by whoever. Susan, you and I agree. We haven't done the alien topic in a minute. Maybe we need to have an alien schedule. Maybe we should do that. If y'all want to do that, let me know. We haven't talked about that in a while. I think that when we look up and we focus on how big the universe is, then we understand not how small we are, but how much we're missing maybe. You know, we're missing a lot playing games on this planet, and there's so much greater things that we can be doing. We're focused on like little things like making money and retirements, as opposed to things that are great that we should be focused on for our children. But I think that yes, we haven't done that in a while, so maybe we'll dip back down into that for a bit. Not today. Because I gotta get out of here. And y'all get me on the alien topic. We'll be here in the ancient religion and ancient, what is that? What they call it? Ancient aliens theory. We get on to that. You know, and I don't think it's a theory. I think the evidence is there. And CIA having sites in Egypt and ancient archaeology sites. That tells you everything that you need to know, and especially them hiding that Adam and Eve story. The Manhattan Project, 3 Mile Island, etc. Thank you, Ms. T. People, these are things you need to look up. Willing idiots for retirement. Absolutely. You know what? And I think that now would be a good place for y'all to post. What should new people look up? Like somebody who's now just starting to question their world. Like, what did it for you? Like, what was it, 9/11? Was it MK Ultra? Was it Operation Mockingbird? Like, what are the things that have documented facts, evidence, Freedom of Information Act requests? What are those things that someone needs to look at? Vaccines? Like, what does somebody need to look up that would really get them to see that this is fake? For me, it was 1913 and 1933 in central banking, like JFK murder. When I shoot NASA and all the whistleblowers, when you start to really all the human beings who are coming forward and saying you're being lied to. That's how I think we move forward, is more people have to start to do research off of the news, outside of the mainstream media that's controlled by the same people who enslaved us all. Jim Baker mixed religion into everything. Yes, he did, Susan, because he was a freak. Jim Baker, he was a freak. Oh, he was a nasty freak. Wasn't he the one that got caught with that hooker? Nah, he was a freak. That's why. Because you can't give people power. Giving people power breaks them. Breaks them, literally. And Jim Baker could have been a good guy at some point in time. But after a while, you're like, oh, wait a minute, y'all just going to throw it at me like that? People in the quiet just throwing it, and you're going to break them. Don't give people that power. We shouldn't have heroes. When you make your pastor or your minister a hero and you give them that power, you break them. When you make a Bernie Sanders a god, when you make a Trump a god, when you make Obama a god, even if they were decent people, you're going to break them. Total power corrupts, and total power corrupts totally. Somebody said chemtrails. Right, chemtrails. You know what? Yeah, I mentioned that the other day. I had the first chemtrail person. I thought they was crazy. I said, y'all crazy out your damn mind. I sat down and listened to them. They had signs, and they were set up on the side of the road in front of a gas station. And I used to be an activist, so when I see people, I'll stop and I'll listen to them. They're like, the chemtrails, the government's spraying us. Here's the document. Read this, read this, read this. I was just like, y'all are crazy. The day is long. But I took it. Come to find out. Y'all look at these pictures. Y'all like the picture I saw yesterday? You look at these pictures of the crisscross clouds in the sky. Does anybody still think that that's normal? Does anybody think a government that's always trying to depopulate us actually think that's normal? And that's where I think hope comes from, is a lot of this stuff gets released and now the whistleblowers are telling everybody. But we have to act on it, right? We got to act on it. We have to change our behavior, to take power from the people who are always lying to us. All right. I don't think there was anything else in the news I found to be interesting. I didn't see any other cracks. Anybody else see any cracks in the news? And to be honest with you, I really didn't even look. I think I clicked on 2 things this morning. Let's take a quick peek, see if there's anything else I have to look at before we should go. Uh-oh, asteroid killer. What's this? What? Asteroid's coming. It's coming. I pray for the asteroid every night. Can you please reset us? Can we deflect a killer asteroid? Yeah, we could if we actually wanted to. Do we want to? Should we actually destroy the ecosystem? Nah, if we put together our minds and we evolved, then I would agree we should deflect the asteroid. If we can't grow the hell up and start to say things that killing kids is a bad idea and we shouldn't vote for this, then I think we should get wiped from the planet. This is a hell on earth, literally. With the asteroid, we hot fire, we might get burned up. We literally already have hell on earth. Can't get any worse than this. Just because we're in the West and I live a privileged life doesn't mean that other people around the world aren't being destroyed to support my life. And my government uses to get me to sell everybody else stop. Epstein's pals are sweating. Yeah, well, if he was a billionaire, he's a psychopath. All billionaires are psychopaths, so he probably did. If he didn't do that, he done did something dirty. Vietnam is Trump's newest tariff target. Yeah, well, it's supposed to be. Anyway, the billionaires must want some rubber. And so they'll send the Democrats and Republicans to go sanction them, and that's how that works. But you know, but from the title's perspective,
Hold it right there. Y'all from the bank.
Can we deflect an asteroid? I don't know if that story has anything to do with banking. That might actually pull people together. Epstein, all the drama, that's from the bank. They want to get you to focus on that, not the bank. Vietnam is Trump's newest tariff. That's for the bank. That just means the bank sees something there that they can profit from, so they need to start a war, so they buy a war from the politicians, and they tell the politicians what to do. The politicians have no say in that discussion. They don't make deals with politicians. Billionaires and bankers tell politicians. They don't ask them. They don't make deals with slaves. They tell them what they're going to do. Germany, and if they're broken, they just buy a new politician and throw that one out. Germany rebuffs U.S. order to send troops. Yeah, some weird things happen with Germany, but once again, I think the Rothschilds will let two of their nations get into a war. I think that's from the banks. I think that they constantly want to reinforce in everyone's head that nations actually are sovereign. They have sovereign powers. Nations don't have any powers. The billionaires and the banks do. So that's from the bank. You just reinforce with people that crap is real and it's not. Trend alert. Licks for clicks. That just sounds nasty. I don't even know what that is. Deutsche Bank. Well, yeah, you don't know what's going on with banks. They run it. Even the small banks like Deutsche Bank that aren't central banks, you're not going to get anyone release anything about the banks. So they'll release stuff on the CIA. They'll release stuff on the FBI. You'll have whistleblowers from all the different organizations and Seth Riches and the political parties, all the things that have no power. You'll get whistleblowers from all of that. But you won't get whistleblowers from the organizations that have real power, like the banking, because they'll murder you, your town, everybody in it. They'll blow up, and they'll destroy a whole country to get you. The way my mind works. Y'all seen Game of Thrones, you know how this works. The politicians got to go to the Iron Bank and ask for the blessings. So yeah, I don't think with banks you'll ever really know what's going on. It's always onion upon onion upon onion layer of scams, lies, and everything else, and nobody tells on banks. Nobody's that stupid. Like I said the other day, the entire Obama administration was picked by Citigroup, I think it is. You'd be a fool to think that Trump's organization, but the cabinet wasn't picked by another bank as well, if not the same bank. And you'd be a fool to think that your 2020 is going to do the things that they say. The banks are going to pick the cabinet, and the bureaucracy is going to determine what happens, not the presidents. Trump responds to the Green New Deal. Still bank wars. Still, you coming from the bank. You coming from bank perspective. Keep everyone divided up. Hate Trump, love Trump. Think that he actually is fighting bankers. Same way they did with Obama. California earthquake is the big one. Is the big one coming? Yeah, well, the big one's coming. Is it coming anytime soon? Who would know? I don't know. I'm not a geologist. Once again, I think that's from the banks too. I get people scared, they leave California, the real estate drops, real estate's ridiculously high in California anyway. Real estate companies can do well. That's a part of banking, right? So once again, message from the banks, destabilize things. It's like day trading. Get people to day trade, get them to move and move them around, destroy countries, whatever. You make a lot of money from that. Jeffrey Epstein, bad. Tense afternoon for Antifa Proud Boys in DC. Yeah, well, again, that's a message from the banks. Get people on this bigoted side, that bigoted side, get them fighting over fuggles, because there are no real struggles that, amongst poor people. If you're not fighting people who own resources, you're not actually fighting anything. That's a fake struggle. It's a fuggle. That's all that is. Right? And so all of that is scare people, make both groups terrorist organizations. They'll infiltrate both sides, get them fighting. so they can do more monitoring, spying, take more rights, and it's always a game from the banks. You're always being played. If you're not fighting people who own resources, you're not actually fighting. You're just making things worse. Chance for equal pay after U.S. World Cup victory. I don't know what that is. All right. So anyway, I think that's how you process the news. You just look at the news. Is it designed to reinforce your indoctrination? If it is, then the message is from the banks. That's all it is. It's from, and when I say it's from the banks, it's from the people who control this. This is why we're always taught. We're always taught from day one to not trust the bankers. Day one. Day one, from the mother hubbing giddy up. Never trust them. Never trust their message. Never trust their project plans. They're always there to pay you. Play you. Never there to pay you. They ain't gonna pay you. They ain't pay a damn thing.
Told you I buried it myself. Your cousin still has this here horse farm and a forge and some shoeing impediment to restore our liberty of movement.
Somebody coming. Boom.
You man from the bank?
You wash his bar?
Yes, sir.
Trust him. All right, let me get down and start wrapping this stuff. Never trust the banks. Always process anyone giving you information. Is it controlled information? Does it help human conflict? Does it divide people up more, or does it bring them together? Is it solving a root problem, or is it making profitable, not solving anything? Making a business out of the problem. My friends are not ready to be awake. Every time I bring up something we hear believe in, they ridicule me. They're not ready to leave the farm. No, they're not, Ivana, and you can't force them to wake up. All you can do is what I see you do. All you can do is say what's true, say what's plausible, say what's historical, and post the facts, and that's it, right? Like the whole vaccine schedule, right? You just post it, and they're not going to accept it from you because you're their friend, right? They know everything you know. It's crazy, but it's how it works. A prophet's not sent to their own land. That's another scripture, right? You can't tell your friends anything. You can't tell your family anything because they already know everything that you know. You're an idiot. I can't tell my family anything. Oh, I'm an idiot. They know everything. Ivana, they knew me when I was driving my pink Volkswagen Bug. I used to go to school. I drove a 1974 pink Volkswagen Bug. It was red when it was brand new. By the time I got it, was pink. And I bought that car for $300. I got people, my friends, they knew me way back then. I knew you back when you drove a pink buggy with the floor that fell out because the passenger side didn't have a floorboard. It was open. You could see the road running by like the Flintstones. I was like, I knew him way back then. He don't know nothing. He don't know. And it's okay. It's like, I still tell him, I still do the videos, and I say, hey, you should watch it, whatever. And then I back away. But see, my friends won't listen to me. My family won't listen to me because they know me. They knew me when I jumped off the roof with the Superman cape. They landed in a bush. They knew me back then. They knew me when I ran away from home, told my daddy at the age of 13, I'm leaving because you're a bad guy. You want to make me clean my room and you want me to do my homework. I ran away from home. The dumb thing is I ran away in winter, so that didn't last long. I ran away in Maryland winter. Y'all run away from home, don't do it in winter. I can't tell them nothing. But you can, right? When they see other people saying the things that you say, then it starts to process, right? And that's why sharing is important. That's why I appreciate people who share, because others are trying to talk to their family. But who's here? Miss T can't talk to her family nor her friends. They don't trust her at all. She's stupid. Susan, she can't talk to her. Nope, they don't trust her. Nope. I think your husband gets it, but everybody else, nope. Susan crazy as all hell. John, you back crazy. You don't know nothing. But John, your friends might listen to Susan and Lori. You don't know nothing. You don't never know what you're talking about. You just making all these chemtrails, and the government hates us. They love us. They want to take care of us. They want to give us freedom and democracy. But Brenda, same thing. That's just how it works. And that's why it's important to share and have these discussions, because then you can see like, oh, either it's a whole bunch of crazy people or I'm missing something. And my goodness, they might actually start looking at the Freedom of Information Act request. That logic and that critical thought might start to kick in. Like, there are no idiots around here. There are no idiots. Your friends aren't idiots. Your family aren't idiots. They're just indoctrinated. right? They're indoctrinated to believe certain things, and they built a whole life up on that belief system. They went to high school, they went to grade school, they went to high school, they went to college, they got a degree, they got a job, they built their whole world up based in this. They got a mortgage to pay, they got all these bills, and they get 2 vacations in the winter or 2 vacations a year. They got health care. They built up an entire life on a lie. And you just walk in, you tell them like your whole life is a lie. They shouldn't believe you. They shouldn't believe nothing. You crazy as all hell. I done built a whole life. I done built a whole life up on this and got married on this and in this industry. You're not gonna tell me anything about my industry, you know. But all you can do is you just put like, hey, your life is a lie. You're not supposed to believe, but it's a seed, right? You plant the seed and let nature do the rest. That's all we can do. That's why truth is so important. Truth and honesty and knowing human history, knowing how human psychology works, knowing how kings and lords have always worked. Gerard, you need to be more coexistent with when I come on. I keep missing you, and you have a really have to watch okay, you want me to be more consistent in coming in. Oh, Eileen, I try, girl. I try. It's slavery. Eileen, I don't tell the banks nothing. I honestly don't. And I die if I don't work. Literally, I die if I don't have water and food and a place to live. So that kind of controls it. I try to be consistent as I can. I usually start anywhere on Eastern Standard Time between 9 and 9:30. I kind of do pretty good. I try my best. I'm try harder. I will try harder, but I try to land in that time frame somewhere. And days I can stay late, like today, I try to stay a little later so people kind of catch in, go back and catch the replay. But the good thing is, you know, it's fun to do it when people are here because we can interact and I can read the comments and stuff. But it's still delicious later, right? Like I actually wait an hour or two and I'll go back and I'll read the comments because an hour or two later, then everybody came in and everybody gave their input. In fact, sometimes I'll go back and I'll watch a video from like a month ago and I'll just see all this other stuff I didn't know. Like that's the beautiful thing about people who have an affinity or a passion for discovering what's true is there's so many of them and there's so much information, there's so much to read, and there's so many lectures and videos and links and things to look at. So, you know, it's good to interact initially, but live isn't the best. I don't think that's the best viewing. I think it's the best for building the community because we can have the conversation. But if you come back and you watch later and all these other people come in, then it's powerful. And the other thing I love about it is when they post things that show that I'm wrong. Like that's how I learn. Like I have to come back and I'll make all these crazy statements, just put myself out there, and someone posts things, and this is how we evolve and move forward. So it's good live and it's good later too. You know, there are people who will pause the video, go out, find a link, and post something, say, nope, Gerard was wrong right there, which is a great thing because then I get better. And if I get better, then we get better, and the discussion gets better and better and better, and then we actually can fix problems going forward. Poor bees. Daniel, don't worry about the bees. The bees ain't gonna take us with them. Don't worry, the bees are not poor. The bees are wealthy. And in fact, the bees that come back will be the ones that take 1 billion years to come back. When the bees go, the fruit goes too. When the fruit goes, the humans go. So don't be sad for the bees. The bees gonna be okay. The planet's gonna be okay. It's gonna reboot. It's the human beings that got the problem. None of my friends are ready to hear the truth about vaccines. Nope, Yvonne, they're not supposed to. They go to the doctor and they believe the doctor. Right? When you start posing things and saying things like pharmaceutical industry, they just want to make money, they're not supposed to believe. The pharmaceutical industry, they love us. They're supposed to love us. That's why I make jokes. That's why I make jokes, Yvonne, with it. I think people can process the ridiculousness of the root statements better. Like, no, the pharmaceutical industry doesn't love you enough to make vaccines for you. They literally don't want to get rid of your headaches and they don't want your penis growing bigger. They honestly, they don't want you having more children. Maybe they might want that. But the root of it is they want to make money. That's it. And when you can process just very simple statements, they just want to make money. They don't want herd immunity. They just want to make money. And whatever makes the most money is what they're going to do. It's like politicians. They're literally, they just want a retirement. They'll say whatever they can to get it. That's it. They're just like us. They want the house, the colleague, the 2 kids, and the station wagon with the wood panels. That's what my generation wants. 2.5 kids. That's all they want. And they'll act, they'll do anything they can to get the retirement that they want. You know, and so when you deal with things at a base level, then I think it's easier to process. Like America, you know, the Pentagon doesn't want democracy and freedom for the world. That's stupid. it's just when you say it out loud, you're processing. You can say that is dumb, isn't it? That sounds real dumb. The Pentagon wants freedom and democracy for the world. That's not what a Pentagon is. The Pentagon is too close to being a pentagram. They don't want that for nobody. They're not there to support the troops. They're there to use the troops. And especially in a nation where people don't care about their soldiers, they don't actually talk to their soldiers. They listen to the politicians about what the soldiers want. They don't know how to cut out the middleman, go straight to the soldier, and ask if the wars are alive. Right? When you have a nation like that, the Pentagon is not there for the troops. It's not there for your freedom and democracy. The Pentagon is there for profit. You go determine with the military-industrial complex and what the profits are. Right? They're there to have war. As long as you have a Pentagon, you will have more wars. You will not have less wars. You will have more lies in the wars. You have more false flags. You have more U.S. liberties. So I try to keep it simple. If the pharmaceutical industry can't get headache medicine right, if people are still dying for headache medicine, I have zero interest in listening to those scientists about vaccines or anything else. So to me, it's not even about vaccines. It's about common sense. Right? I don't even, and so, you know, you got vaxxers and we're anti-vaxxers. I'm not any of it. I just don't trust business. I worked in business long enough, big business, to know it's just about money. It's just economics. And they'll sell you anything that you're stupid enough to buy. That's it. So it has nothing to do with vaccines. It's just, do you trust big, massive, greedy corporations that have a history of murdering people? If you trust them, you don't get to lead the party. You don't get to lead the party I'm going to. You're not going to drive any car I'm going to get in. That's all I'm saying. All right, let me see. One World Army is coming soon. Oh, joy. D, I don't know what that is. What is the One World Army? Hopefully it's a peaceful army. Hopefully we can get past the violence and fighting for control of a violent system instead of just getting rid of the system. They're going crazy here and then dying. Sad. All right, Daniel, I don't know who that is. But yeah, the world's jacked up and evolved. Our creator gave us this option. Yeah, we do have options, Daniel. We always got choices. Absolutely always got choices. The bees and birds getting picked off with 5G frequency and lack of green. Absolutely, D. We need more green. We need less lawns. Y'all need to be planting mint, plant thyme in your yards, plant some ferns, put some fruit trees in. You're having trouble with grass, you should not be cutting your grass. It's psychopathic to have grass height limits. That's the dumbest thing on the planet. You need to have wild grass and wild flowers and things that are ecosystems for monarch butterflies, bees, and birds, and the whole ecosystem is being collapsed because you're out there cutting your grass every damn Saturday morning. I can't stand it. Wake up Saturday morning, I have to wake up to the purr of all the damn lawnmowers in the distance. Like, come on, like really? And y'all, these same people that later on in the day, they're gonna be fighting climate change on the internet. They're all out there, the hums in the distance of all the damn lawnmowers in suburban. Plant some mint. But this is what I tell people, put your perennials in. You got a shady spot in your yard, put in some raspberries, put in some blackberries, some blueberries. Every year, put in some food that you can eat. The shade will shade out that grass. You'll actually cut the grass less, which means you'll do less damage to the world, less damage. You'll be using less fossil fuels. You'll create more ecosystem for the birds, the bees, the monkeys, the rabbits, and everybody. And you're creating ecosystem in your yard. And it's even easier to grow organic when you have a natural ecosystem. When you got the dragonflies, you got the praying mantis, you got the ladybugs. They take the bugs off your plants, so you don't need the pesticides. Right? You have a soil food web. The worms come back because you got the deeper root systems from the blueberries. Like, plant things that you eat. Stop planting crap from Home Depot. They ain't got nothing to do with ecosystem. We're a part of an ecosystem. But once you get things growing in your yard, then the grass doesn't grow as fast. You know, so when you get to like a really, really rainy summer like we have here, you're not out there cutting grass every weekend. You're spending time with your wife or your husband or your kids. You're doing something that's positive, not out there cutting no damn grass, destroying the planet. I don't even know where that came from. Oh, the bees, right. And so when you have an ecosystem, 5G isn't as bad. When the bees got places to go, 5G isn't as bad. That's just in the people who live in the cities. That's for people who live in the kill zones, the kill boxes, the cities with the high areas of population that they're trying to get 5G to first. But the bees can go hide out in the suburbia, and they can't do that now because when the bees leave the city, they got nowhere to go because it's just grass all in the suburban side. If you get on your township, make sure you get rid of the grass cutting laws. I have no interest in anybody who's constantly cutting their grass, talking about damn CO2. Like, yeah, are you serious? Like, really? You fighting climate change? Really? You cutting your grass? You doing the hedges? One of the most beautiful friends in my life is blind. Yeah, well, Lord, I think blind people see more. That's really what it comes down to. Blind people see more. Because when you have to use your other senses and you not trust your lying eyes, like the whole world is designed to lie to us with our eyes. Everything, the mainstream media, the television, the news, they use graphic images to lie to us and we believe it. But when you're blind, you don't see that crap. You can listen to it, you can spot when people are lying better. You know, you process on a whole different level. The whole world was designed to lie to eyes, and that's why it is. And that's why they show the graphic pictures. That's why I got so many friends that don't want to be my friend because I had a profile picture of the kids in Yemen. They understand how it works. Yes, right. You can be shamed into doing the right thing, and that's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. It's a good thing to see all the dying children in Yemen. Why? Because it'll change you. Damn it, it sure did change me in some ways. Most important thing is human life and children. Always, always stand for what's right. Always stand up for the weak. Always stand up for those who need you to be an adult, especially if you have the privilege of being an adult. Just being an adult is a privilege in a world for one of the wealthiest nations. Genocide over 100,000 children in Yemen. Just being an adult is a privilege. Don't mind about the privileges you don't have if you have privileges. There are kids in Yemen who were killed at the age of 3. Starved to death. Food is a privilege. Water is a privilege. And the only reason why is artificial scarcity and planned obsolescence. Why? Because you got banks. As long as banks exist, they will starve people, because when you starve people, you turn them into monsters. If you got a planet full of monsters, society full of that, banks can make major profit. Native Americans used to greet new people with sayings. I come in peace and love my relatives, calling strangers their relatives, because all strangers are their relatives, right, Susan? Like, they got it. They understand. They understand that we are 7 billion cousins spread across this world, all put into conflict with each other for some of the dumbest things imaginable. We gotta stop being so gullible. We gotta stop being so fragile. We gotta stop being such cowards, and we gotta start solving root level problems. They're tired of me, essentially agree. Yeah, they get tired of you. I know they get tired of you, Miss T. They got to. You're relentless. You ain't here to play. I can see that. The youth are fearful that if they were to be as honest as myself, they would be unemployable. Yes, and they would be, Miss T. They would be. When you go for a job now, they're looking at they go to your Facebook. They go to your social media. When you go for a job, because they want to find out what you believe. Do you believe the system? If you believe in the system, you got a job. You're one of us. You don't believe in the system, you don't believe in the banking system, you're gonna have some problems. I'll never have another job in my life, Miss T, because I have too much stuff on my Facebook. I give a damn. I give a damn. I give more damn about that than anything else. So I don't pick any sides. I choose no teams. That's what your problem was and is, Gerard. I said, I don't know why, Susan, I missed it. I don't know. I got a lot of problems. I got a whole bunch of problems. I like being crazy. Yeah, with D, crazy is good. In an insane world, you're supposed to be crazy. Literally. If in an insane world, if you feel that this is normal, if you feel that this is normal and we should go out and keep voting for this nonsense, then that means you're insane. Absolutely. What D just said right there. I can't say those words, but what D just said. It needs to go. The whole thing needs to go. The entire thing is evil, it's psychopathic, it's inhuman, it's inhumane, it kills children, it starves women, it starves the elderly, it drops bombs and destroys nations. The entire thing needs to go. There's no band-aid fix that we need from any of these politicians. The whole thing needs to go. You just need to ask the simple questions. You see some men walking down the street, you ask them. When you're watching the news, you check them. When your friends got something to tell you, they got a 2020 from you, 2020, just ask them the question.
Hold it right there! You're from the
I buried
bank!
it myself. Your cousin still has this here. Horse farm and a forge and some shoeing impediment to restore our liberty of movement.
Hold it right here.
Hold it right there!
You men from the bank?
Is your 2020 from the bank? Is the bank picking that cabinet? If so, no thank you. All right, I gotta go. Is your system from the bank? Is your communism from the bank? Is your capitalism from the bank? Is your social, if it's from the bank, if it's owned by the banks, and had nothing to do with it. Papa told me to never trust the bankers. All right, I gotta go. Listen, it's Gerard. Y'all have a great day. Love y'all to death now. I gotta go. Bye-bye.
You wash his bar?
Yes, sir. Daddy told me I'm the shooting